Hello, this is Corey Medina, and you are listening to Native Americana Audio Cafe.
Tell people who you are.
Yes, Yate Corey Medina Ashehenishle na kay Bashishid Kiani Deshiche na kay Deshanella. I'm Corey Medina, born from the Salt Rock clan. I'm Navajo Dene. From Shiprock, New Mexico, and I now reside up in Anishinaabe territory in Bemidji, Minnesota, and that's where northern Minnesota. That's where I'm broadcasting from, and yeah, been very honored to cross paths with Keith since I moved to Minnesota. First met him down in Minneapolis, and then all of a sudden we got to start doing gigs together here up here in the northern land. So yeah, it's been a cool ride.
Corey, I always say this Native Americana broadcast, the Audio Cafe, is at the crossroads of Minnehaha and Hiawatha. You know, it's a true love affair and passion affair of music,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
ironic. That was kind of near the intersection where we met.
Yeah.
And you're telling me a story about or a CD or something.
Yeah, that was really cool. You were chilling with Huckfeld from the Pines, David. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool me and Sonny just got done playing at where do we play at? Not Little Earth. No, it wasn't that. We just got done playing a random gig somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, let's go get something to eat from a cool pub somewhere." And we walked in. I was like, "Dude, that's freaking Keisako." I was like, "Man, as I first listened to him in junior high, man, like I gotta go meet him, man." And then Sonny was like, "Yeah, is that Keisako?" So yeah, that was really awesome.
David is quite a musicologist, and in meeting you guys, were inspired and you're enthusiastic about music, and ever since then you've just been um, putting your music out and playing it. Um, I don't know. Is there a genre you'd say your music?
Yeah, I guess usually, usually when we tell people, we usually just try to tell them like blues rock. I think that's the best. The kind of because we're not. It's hard because I love the blues and I wish I could say I wish I could feel comfortable saying yeah I'm in a blues band, but um maybe to my grandma I would tell her yeah I'm in a blues band, because to her it doesn't really it doesn't there's no difference between blues and blues rock. It's all craziness. But to some, to kids these days, they want to know what the subgenre of this subgenre is. And but yeah, I think blues rock. But since being in, I think blues rock has always been my main focus since I started writing my own songs. Because people like White Stripes and Black Keys, when they first came on this scene, they're the ones who kind of told me or showed me that hey, you can take that old school blues feel and give it a modern twist and put a little heavy craziness to it. And yeah, but now being in Minnesota, our new album that's out, well, I've kind of picked up some Americana kind of fields, and it's really cool. It's kind of mellowed me out in some areas. It's kind of there are some edges that were still a bit jagged, and they kind of smooth those out a little bit for the better. And yeah, kind of made me in a way a better singer. I like to sing lower now because usually before I would just be screaming all the time just to hit my notes. But blues rock with some soul folk, I guess. Sorry, huge rabbit hole there, but yeah.
Have you been able to create during this pandemic time?
Yeah. And I'm very thankful that uh, we we're very thankful that we've been house hunting. There's 10 of us here in this house, and we finally found a house that can fit us all and that can still where I can still get work done. So thankfully, I was very thankful that as soon as we got locked down here in northern Minnesota, that we're not really on a like really lockdown, but we're definitely on a lot of things are shut down. Everybody's home, so but then it just kind of gave me the inspiration, I guess, to finally get my home studio set up. And it's something that I've been wanting to set up for years, but haven't been able to, just being on the road. Um, which is why it took us so long to release our album as well, because gigs kind of, I wouldn't say get in the way, but that's how you make your money. So, and then if you don't, if you take weeks off, you don't get paid. So, but so with that, I'm really glad that I was able to get my home studio finally set up and able to do stuff like this. And but yeah, uh, right now I'm actually gonna be helping my drummer soon. He just ordered an interface for his, so that way my bassist uses Pro Tools, and so he's got his set up. So pretty soon here, we're going to be creating together. But as for now, I've just been I try to do a song a day. I haven't done a song in a week. I'm gonna do a song a day. Just whatever comes out, I'm gonna record it, do a little melody line to it, and but yeah, I haven't been keeping up with it. But I have been able to create some stuff. My wife plays bass and drums, and then my good friend from Shiprock as well, who lives with us, he plays bass. So we started a little side project, kind of like a post punk revival kind of thing. So that's been really fun to kind of let out my punk rock side a little bit on that end. So, but
Can
yeah,
you
it's
give
been
a
good.
Can you give a little taste? I heard you playing guitar and singing.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's for a musician. Let's just cut to the chase. Hey,
yeah. Cool. Well, I'll do a a short one, just because I only have one verse written for it, and kind of just, yeah, talks about dark times. I guess it's a darker song, I guess, but it's pretty folky. I can close my eyes, but my mind is running away from me, and I don't know how to keep these tears from running down my face. And I call your name, your name, your name, and I need your grace, your grace, your grace. And my heart, it keeps on growing colder. Every time I say I don't need your love, but you still take my hand. I'm in a dark land, and sometimes I don't wanna leave. I can close my eyes, but my mind is running away from me, and I don't know how to keep these tears from running down my face. And I call your name, your name, your name, and I need your grace, your grace, your grace. But my heart, it keeps on growing colder every time I say I don't need your love coming my way, but you still take my hand. I'm in a dark land, and sometimes, oh, sometimes I don't wanna leave. Oh, that song's not done
uh, thanks for bringing me to the present tense.
yet.
You know, I think that's what the medicine is in the present tense. and when you listen to something or you do something, you know, life is in the present tense, and so it's almost a traditional teaching. And
Hmm.
your
Yeah.
songwriting, you said you wrote the first verse, and you have a few courses and things. Tell me about your songwriting process.
Yeah. Usually I just I guess the biggest and best way for me is I like to get a theme. It's just like, all right, like if I'm gonna write a song, like, what do I want it to sound like? What's the mood? And because I'm a really sensitive guy. I go off of moods a lot. I'm a guy who's really, I'm all about morale and atmosphere and things like that. So I just try to think of a theme, and then I try to usually lyrics are last usually for me. Um, Usually I like to let my guitar be my inspiration, since I played guitar first before I started singing. So my guitar is still I like guitar more than I do singing. But and then yeah, then from there, when I feel like I have a good progression down, and then I try to lay down I try to convey a message, I guess, with anything that I try not to just make up stuff, but at the same time, I try to, if I'm gonna use metaphors, I try to make sure I know where it's coming from, and I know what I'm trying to say. Um, Sometimes it's just gibberish at first, just trying to get syllables right. But that song was actually kind of, as an adult. I think we all go through bouts of depression in some shape or form, and I feel like it's a part of life. Whether you're the happiest person or the saddest person, I think everyone deals with it in some time in their life in some way. And I think it's just for to me personally, I feel like it's a natural thing that we kind of need those little resets to just get it all out, and go through that little bout of darkness. And it's unfortunate that some people don't really make it out of that. But it hit me, as an adult, as a dad, as a you know one of the leaders of a household. Um and it hit me, and it was really weird. It was only for like about 5 days it lasted. And it wasn't just like I was feeling sad. It was like give up music, give up everything, like just I'm gonna be a hermit. I don't, f everybody. And so got 3 days through the darkness, and then I was finally getting out of it. My wife took me to the gym. I felt a lot. That felt good, and I was like, man, you know what? You know, I always preach the blues and preach darkness, and I was like, I wonder what kind of song could come out of this. And so sure enough, and I played it, and that first little riff I played, that's the first thing I played, and I'm like, ooh, I like that key. So what is that? And then I started going, and then yeah, and then but ever since then I haven't. I still need to finish it, because I guess maybe I'm still waiting for that resolve, and what did I learn from that. So yeah, but it's a cool song that I love playing every now and then, so even though it's not done.
I think you're talking about how you're coping. You know, how do I get through something? And I guess that's what we're talking about too with this whole virus thing. How are we coping up there?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. No, definitely. And we're thankfully, I watched Jimmy Kimmel, and he had Seth Rogen on there. And I love what Seth Rogen said. He was the first person I ever hear say, especially with a celebrity. They were like, he's like, you know what? We're not all in this together. He's like, I'm actually doing pretty fine. I'm not doing too bad. And that's kind of how I feel now, being that my people down in Navajo Nation, are getting men again, along with other small communities and tribes as well. Man, they're getting smacked with this, and I feel bad because I'm in northern Minnesota, and which I know there's a reason why I'm up here for this time being. And then it's all, to me, it's all non consequential. But we're doing okay up here, up in Bemidji, and where everyone's on quarantine. But where our city council basically has, and these are just still theories, but our city council has estimated that our peak won't be until late summer, up until Labor Day is when we won't it's not until then we won't see a decrease. So right now a lot of people are getting really impatient, Walmart, and a lot of the bigger stores here. We're not that big of a town, and you know you've been to Bemidji, and but the Walmart's just the same. There's not really like the first week of the quarantine. They were hardcore. It was one single file line in, and then there's like 5 sanitation stations, and then I think people just started complaining too much, so now they did away with all of it. So it's like, well, I think our numbers are going to start to rise, but we're doing good up here. I don't know. It's because we're, I live about a good 9 miles out of town. I'm very fortunate to be able to live kind of in the sticks a little bit during these times. I'm an extrovert by nature, but with my career, it's made me an introvert, and I don't know if I think you can definitely relate to that. I love people, but with this career, and I mainly play in bars and stuff. Throughout the week, I just kind of want to recover from from that much attention. Um, but anyways, but it's weird, So we're staying home here, and then we'll go out, and it's just our numbers aren't high yet. So, and I say yet, So I feel like people are still just kind of everyone's just kind of living day by day. But people are wearing masks, and um, it kind of sucks. It's kind of like just really it's giving us anxiety because we're just kind of watching the storm as it comes very slowly, but then it's just gonna hit. So we're just yeah. So it's kind of weird. So everyone's trying to just live life like normal before it gets here. But as far as the things go with the quarantine here, I'm totally cool with erring on the side of being overly precautious, and there's people I know who are being way more cautious than us, and I'm like, cool, like set the bar high because we're gonna have to do whatever we can so we can try not to look like the Navajo Nation, because I don't want these people here to go through that. I don't even want my own people to go through that. So um yeah, but it's been the warm weather's come in, and that's been nice. I've been getting all my biker friends have been we've all been really just wrenching away for the past couple of weeks getting our bikes ready, because as soon as it's warm enough here to ride on a daily basis, it's gonna that's all you're gonna see out is just bikes. So even when we get to a point where we're actually locked down, I think you're gonna still see a lot of bikers out. So what you're gonna see now is me, my bassist Gary Brosti, my drummer Eric Sundin, Corey Medina Brothers. We're at our bassist studio. We call it Maple Acres, and this is us performing live. The song is called Hold Fast, and it's off our latest release album called Better Days. Hope you enjoy.
Corey, I've been telling people this podcast is kind of about like this concept of during contact they knew a lot about, and after a few hundred years they knew a lot about three barrios of music, and one of the barrios was the Celtic barrio, which came from Europe and the Celtic areas, and it influenced music in America. The other was the Caribbean barrio, from Jamaica and Africa. And the other barrio that was very influential on American music is Native American barrio, which was kind of buried, and when I hear your music, that's what I hear,
Dang.
songs from that.
Yeah,
What do
man.
you think about this theory?
Yeah, I have you probably seen Rumble, right? The documentary
I
Rumble.
haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it, oh Keith, yet. Man, I highly suggest it. It brought me to tears, and that's really what it was all about. It was really about how Native America influenced rock and roll from the blues to some of those things. And because there's some of my melodies I'm not really mimicking, because I as a kid I remember rewinding when BB King hit those blues notes, those notes that make a really disgusted face and it just hits your soul. He would hit that note and I'm like, what is that? So I would keep rewinding it and I try to match it. But and so those are some of the notes I have that I use for my melodies that that I've learned as a kid, just listening to the blues. But then also my grandma listened to a lot of peyote music, like whether it's like peyote or water drum music or NAC music or even northern powwow music. And my grandma raised me for, like, I was with my grandma for the first 5 years of my life, really. With one of my mom was at work. If I wasn't with my mom, I was with my grandma, and that's what she listened to. It. And when you listen to water drum, like peyote NAC music, they have some cool high tones that they do, and pitch bends, like no 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 no, like stuff like that. And that's kind of how I sing too. Is that's where when I need to really kind of like get a note out that I'm really passionate about. That's kind of where I go. Is that kind of, if I were to try to mimic how they sing, that's kind of how it would sound. And I really and so when I watched that documentary, I'm like, man, that make total sense. How a lot of the slaves found um you know found, what's the word, sanctuary on reservations. Slaves that ran away from the plantations, and they would go to the reservations, and then they would obviously be welcomed in, and then you know birth kids who are half African American slave and half Native American. And then from there, a new generation came up, and then their parents telling him, it's better to say that you're black than native, because if you're native, they're going to kill you on the spot. So at least if you're black, worst that can happen is you'll just end up as a slave. You'll end up at the local plantation. So, but it's a crazy documentary, and it makes total sense to me. Is in everything. I love 4/4 beats. That's my favorite thing. I like swing and I like stuff like that too. But I love just 4/4 stuff. And um yeah, so I totally believe in that. I think for a lot of our influence on rock and roll has really been, it's still yet to come to surface and be recognized. And I think in native way, I feel like we're humble enough to know that knowledge exists, but you know we're just kind of, I don't know. I can't. It'd be nice for when that time comes where it's actually validated. Like, hey, like Native Americans actually played a vital role in the music in America. So
Well, I think to understand history, even the history of music, you got to teach it from today backwards, and that's what we're doing. We're writing it now. You're writing it, I'm writing it, uh, and people are documenting things, and that's what we're doing. And sometimes it's easier to show people like, oh, this is what this is. Like if I can play a crossroad of a just
yep.
a crossroad of that Minnehaha and Hiawatha.
Yeah.
You know, like we're writing it and we're showing it, and so
Mhm.
unfold it, you know, unfold
Yeah.
it for the people, and that's what you're doing.
Love to collaborate anything. If you need audio tracks for stuff, let me know. So
How's this track if I
yeah,
say this? Hi,
yeah.
this is Corey Medina, and you're listening to Native Americana Audio Cafe.
Yes, yes.
How
Hey,
was that?
that's awesome. Hey Keith,
All right.
can you hold that up? I'm gonna take a picture of you quick.
Okay.
That
Wait,
is so
I
cool.
got to get so the mic is looking like these.
There you go.
Hi, this is Corey Medina, and you're listening to Native Americana Audio Cafe. God bless you.
Yes, thank you, Keith.
All
Appreciate you,
right.
man.